Welcome to the video, and if you're interested in how colour filters like these affect your black and white photographs with black and white film, then this is the video for you. In today's video we're going to be taking a look at how a yellow filter, an orange filter and a green filter affects black and white film. And the film that we're going to be shooting with is Kodak Tri-X 400 in my Mamiya 6. We're essentially going to do a test, and we're going to take 4 images of 3 different photos. And the first photo is going to be like a portrait type photo of my son. We'll take one with no filters, then one with one of each of the filters, and then we'll go and find some landscape shots, and we'll just repeat the same. And then towards the end we'll catch up and just kind of discuss how these filters impact black and white film, particularly Kodak Tri-X 400. So these filters come with some information on them. They've got a exposure compensation factor that needs to be added to the light meter of the camera, and from the research that I've done, there's actually some information on the filters themselves. And for example, the yellow filter says 2 times, so my research of that means that it's 1 stop of exposure compensation. The green filter is times 3, so that's 1.5 stops, and the orange filter is times 4, which is 2 stops. So we'll run with that and we'll take some photos and we'll see how they turn out. And during this test we're going to be paying close attention to how the filters affect skin tone, how they affect the colours in the scene, like the blue sky and the green grass, and any other colours that we find while we're out taking photographs. Okay, so the first shot we're going to do of my son, and I'm going to get him out of the house in a minute, and hopefully he's going to stay still for me and let me take 4 photos of him. For the first shot we're going to use, well in fact for all the shots we're going to use my 75mm lens. I've got ISO set to 400 to suit the film. I'm going to get my son out now and hopefully he'll pose for me and we'll take some photos of him, and yeah, we'll see how this one goes. That's it. Okay, so we're going to take the first photo, no filter. Just smile for me, Eddie, nicely. There we go, first shot done. And now we're going to put the yellow one on. Hopefully this will make your skin look nice and bright. You ready? We'll just go again. Smile. There we go.
Are you going to do the yellow? Keep doing the yellow?
Now we're going to do the orange one.
Ooh, I wonder what that looks like.
I think it'll make the sky look nice and blue and dark. Just bear with me. Orange one is on. You ready? Smile. There we go. And now we're going to do the green one.
Ooh, I wonder what the green looks like.
I don't know. We'll have to find out.
Have you tried the green one yet?
Have a good drop in a gloss filler. I haven't tried it before, no, it's brand new. You can get it to screw on.
Oh, imagine if you got a red one.
Sorry? A red one? That would make everything really dark. You go and smile. Thank you very much. High five. Well done.
I'll try and make a red one for you.
Oh, thank you. So cute. So I think Eddie did a very good job then. Very proud of him. Such a good little boy. So now we're going to jump in my car and we're going to go and find 2 landscape photos that we can take 4 photos of each. And we'll just run with the same format, and yeah, looking forward to seeing how they turn out. So this is the second image that I'm going to take, and it's a photo that I've taken before. I've shot this exact composition in a previous video. I was here a few weeks ago shooting Ilfotec DD-X doing long exposures. If you want to watch that video, I'll leave a link, it's quite interesting. So yeah, I'm just going to take a few shots of this scene, just following the same process, do one without any filters, and then I'll add the filters on and then add the exposure compensation. And in terms of metering, I'm metering off the grass that's in direct sunlight, and the sun's just here to our left. So there's lots of green fields, there's dark green hedging, there's lots of blue sky, there's clouds, so it'll be interesting to see how this one turns out. I'm just going to take my first shot now. Second shot with yellow filter, same composition, f11, it's 500th of a second. So now we're on the orange filter and we're at f8, 500th of a second. Now we've got the green filter and again just using the metering off the grass, it's telling me F11 at 250th of a second, so we'll just go ahead and do that one. And that's it, next exposure. So here we have our second photo. It's going to again follow the same format. So we're just taking a meter reading off the grass here below in exposure lock with 0 exposure compensation. We're at F11, and the grass right here at my feet in direct sunlight is 500th of a second. So we're just going to take that shot. First shot done. Just pop on some filters. So now we're on the yellow filter, and again with the metering process we're going to do the same. So exposure lock at F8, we're just taking a meter reading off the grass. It's telling me 500th of a second, so F8, 500th of a second with a yellow filter. We're just going to take the same exposure. That's that shot done. So now we've got the orange filter on, and we've set our exposure compensation to +2. We're at F5.6 now, exposure lock, meter reading off the grass. Below is giving us 500th of a second, it's still in direct sunlight, so we will just dial that in. 500th of a second, F5.6. And we'll just take the same shot. So now we're on the green filter, and I've got my f-stop set to F8, and we're in exposure lock mode, and from exposure compensation we're at plus 1 2/3. So we're just going to take an exposure reading off the grass at our feet here, and it's 250th a second, so we'll just exposure lock that, and then we'll take the shot. And there we have it, 12 exposures made. So now we're going to go home and develop this film, and I will develop it myself using Ilfotec DD-X, and we'll be referring to the MassDev chart app, and I'll leave the details of what the development times are, etc. And yeah, we'll review the images and see what we've got. So here we have the first 4 images taken of my brilliant son Eddie, and top left we have no filter, top right we've got yellow filter, bottom left orange filter, and bottom right green filter. These were taken just at box speed with no exposure compensation, F11 1/500th of a second, and obviously you can see the difference in the contrast. And I think the contrast difference between them is quite obvious. I think the yellow filter does actually suit a portrait type shot, or a shot with people in. The orange filter adds a lot of contrast. You can obviously see the sky's a lot darker, and I think this one is definitely suited more to landscape photography than images with people in. The green filter is a lot more darker than I thought it would be. You'll see that the sky is very similar to the yellow filter, but when you look at the face of my son Eddie, it's obviously a lot darker. And here we have the second set of images, and these have been taken with exposure compensation added as per the recommendation on the filter themselves. On the top left we have an image with no filter. Please excuse the out of focus look of this image. I forgot to reset the focus from my previous shots. Top right we've got the yellow filter, bottom left is the orange filter, and the bottom right is the green filter. I do think that the yellow filter adds quite a nice contrast compared to no filter, and the orange filter is definitely darker. The grass looks a little bit lighter to me than the yellow filter. The green filter surprises me a little bit, because I did think that the green filter would make the green grass a lot brighter, but when you compare it to the orange filter it seems a lot darker. Comparing the sky of the green filter image to the orange filter one, it definitely seems brighter than the orange filter. Comparing the green filter to the yellow filter one, it looks very similar. I do think that the orange filter one definitely suits more landscape photography images. I do quite like the subtle contrast of the yellow filter, and the green one surprises me a little bit. I feel like I need to explore more with this one and maybe test it out a bit more in different types of shots. And here we have the third set of images with exposure compensation added again as recommended on the filters themselves. Top left again no filter, top right yellow filter, bottom left orange filter, bottom right green filter, and just comparing and contrasting them. Obviously the yellow filter makes the grass appear brighter than the image with no filter, and the sky of the yellow filter is definitely darker than the image with no filter. I think the orange filter definitely makes the grass the brightest out of the three filters, but it also makes the sky the darkest, which is quite nice. I quite like that look for landscape photography. The green filter in this the grass seems very similar to the yellow filter, but the sky of the green filter one seems more brighter than the yellow filter and is very similar to that you can see with the no filter. I definitely feel like I need to explore more with the green filter, because my expectation was that the green areas in the images would be brighter, but perhaps there's the way I'm shooting with it is wrong, or I've done something wrong. So if you've got any advice on how to use green filters, I would definitely like to hear about that from you. And just to bear in mind, I did actually make these images using the inbuilt light meter of my Mamiya 6, and perhaps I need to do another test using my light meter to properly expose the images and add exposure compensation a bit more accurately than relying on the light meter of my camera and the exposure compensation feature within my Mamiya 6. So look, I really hope you enjoyed that video. Please give me some comments on the photos down below, what you liked about the different colours of the filters, and yeah, what different opinions you have. I'm really interested to hear what you think. My initial thinking for these filters is the orange one is particularly like my go-to for landscape because it adds lots of contrast. I'm interested in the green one because of how it affects green, and there's lots of green fields and green trees where I live, and I want to brighten them in my landscape images because typically green turns up quite dark. And the yellow filter is kind of a bit of an in-betweener when I don't want too much contrast, but I want a little bit more than what the film is offering, so I would use this for that. I'm also interested in some comments that you might have on your experiences with colour filters on your black and white photos, so please leave a comment on that. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. If you really enjoyed the content that I put out, then please consider subscribing to my channel. That would be awesome. I'm hoping to achieve 5,000 subscribers by the end of 2021. So thank you once again, have a great week, and bye for now.